Welcome to my playthrough of Chrono Trigger. This episode will be hitting the most random dungeon in Chrono Trigger, the Reptile Outpost. You don't have the flyers yet. You get those in the next episode. And off camera, I did some hunting in the hunting area and ran into the rare new mob that gives you 3 of everything. And here's the footage of that. These things are tough. One hit takes you to 1 hit point, and on its 4th or 5th attack, it'll hit a character for just 1 hit point. But if you're lucky, you only meet the one and get them done quickly. And you have to beat them once to get the 3rd eye. But as I was saying before we went to that clip, what hurts in this level is you don't have the Petrodon flyers yet, so to get back and forth to the village you have to go through the forest maze. The nice thing is if you miss any items in here, you can come back at any time and pick them up. I usually end up doing that a little later in the game. Because it's usually just potions and stuff I forget, not the big items. And I only bring that up because off to the left side of the screen I catch an unopened chest at one point while going through here. And yes, I'm re-recording this. The last attempt failed miserably. And it'll also be a lot easier as I have lightning too, and these guys are one-hit wonders with that. Yeah, there's the chest. And I think it's either an ether or a potion. Now, when we go into this next dungeon, the first thing you'll see are these weevil things. And a single entrance. Hear that sound? That's them digging down to the next level. And each time it'll take you to a new room. And there's some rooms that are hard to get into. One thing I searched all over for is a map of this dungeon broken down to show where they dig. like in this room, if he digs over on the right side before the fight, there's a room with a mega elixir. And they can take up to 10 minutes before they dig a tunnel as you get lower. Where in the very first room, it can take anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes for all of them to dig a tunnel. And sometimes they dig them so close together they all go to the same room anyway. So this dungeon can take hours, days, just depending on how often they dig. And touching any of the holes will automatically trigger the battle, except for one room. And that's the return room. That one doesn't trigger the battle even though there's a fight there. And this is a very good place to level up and get out of there all set and up to snuff with the rest of the team, so she isn't too far behind the next time we see her. And as you can see, you can sneak behind those reptites and get those items. Now in these fights with the mushrooms and the apes, I actually suggest taking out the mushrooms first. Ilo there can one-hit them. And it's especially important in the next fight where there's two of the mushrooms, because they will run away if the ape is killed. Matter of fact, I think in this fight we will see one run away. And I do go through this a couple of times to show some of the different routes you can take before I go to the room above this, fight some dinos, and open up the save point. And I hesitated at first because I couldn't remember if that's what happened or if it went directly into the boss battle. And I knew I wasn't anywhere near ready for the boss battle. Now this is the room I was talking about. If you can bypass this ape, this is the only room besides the very first room that you can drop down a hole without triggering a fight. And I suggest standing there, or if you're really hurting, slip out like what accidentally got cut out and use a cottage or a tent and heal up before moving on. And I was also, it'd been a while since I played this, so I was also trying to find the best spot to wait for him. To dig. Like I showed, that one hole which drops you here doesn't start a fight, while the hole in these rooms do. there's a couple of places where you run into these dinosaurs. And as you can see, hitting any of these dinosaurs or the dinosaur people with lightning will stun them. So it's free attacks. And some of the bosses, dino bosses, it'll also weaken their defense so they take more damage after the lightning strike. Yeah, it's a lot of this back and forth, but I really wanted to show how complicated this dungeon is and how much of a headache it can be for the player. But, ooh, Cat Attack and Thunder Chomp. Those, it's a good combination. That Thunder Chomp does a lot of damage to the dino enemies. And I'm at 240 on that, so... I really wanted lightning too before the boss battle, and mainly I wanted the Falcon Strike, which I believe is the next combo attack you get with Ala when she gets a skill called Stone Throw. What's really nice is that dino from a few minutes ago, the last time we went down, if you stun one of them with lightning and then hit it with that Stone Throw skill, it one-shots them. And as you been seeing, these weevils that dig the holes are weak to magic. I wanted to try out the Thunder Cat Attack. It does pretty good damage. And with her, Meryl, her ice is probably her best attack. And I believe her next skill on the list was Cure. See here, they both ran off. That's why I say to take out the mushrooms and let him toss you around a bit first so they don't go running off. Yeah. The apes aren't too bad for tech points. Like I said. As I learned, they do this. All three of those all go into the same room. And there's another one going to the same room. This is what I was talking about. Where he was digging takes you into the room with a mega elixir, and I messed up and didn't let him finish digging before I bumped into something. And I think in the first 3 hours or so of playtime in this, and yes, I was in it for about 6 hours to level up and to try to find all the ways through, so I could at least discuss it if I didn't show it. He only did it one more time when I was in the room. And that's how I know it takes you to the Mega Elixir. And if you get those, save them for your boss battles, because they heal everything. And I never got into this room to the right. At least in this playthrough. So I don't even remember what's in that room. But out of all the dungeons in this game, this one can take the most time. Or everything else, it's getting through the story. Now, getting to the end of the video, after this next series of fights, I'll be opening up the save point and saving. And I'll start the next video with the boss battle and moving on with the story. Now, like I said, past this point, that's where the save spot will appear. You fight these dinosaurs, it makes the save spot appear, and past and up those stairs is the boss room, which I'll cover in the next episode. Also past the boss is the second exit to this dungeon. So if you want to come back and use it to grind TP for skills or levels to take on Spico, which I screwed up. I'm already at level 30 and I missed taking him on before then. This is a good early place to do this. Grind up TP and get the skill points for characters you pick up. Later in the game there's better spots, but it'll give you a chance to explore this area a little more and get any items you may have missed. Some of which may have been redundant by that point, but that's what happens with this dungeon. Well, thank you for watching and have a good day.